Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She's the author of the book Art for Your Sanity, How Art Journaling Can Help You Manage Chaos and Unleash Joy, no other than Miss Susan Hensley.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Susan, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. So, the book, and you gave the title, right? Art for Your Sanity, How Art Journaling Can Help You Manage Chaos and Unleash Joy, is, ironically, my story with a bunch of brain science and a how-to. And in writing the book, I inadvertently sort of launched a third career, right? I think many authors maybe stumble into being
Yes.
an author. There was a first career in television journalism and then 2 decades as a corporate executive. And I took up art journaling, which isn't about making art or like showing people the art. It's about using art to process your emotions and tap into your inner knowing. I used that during a really tough time in my life, and it helped me through a career transition. So it's a bit of a labor of love, if you will. And I realized I was telling so many people about it, it would be much easier to write a book about it.
Certainly. So, how did you suggest art journaling can serve as a tool for self discovery and emotional healing?
So I think it really starts with recognizing as adults, we go through a lot of transitions, whether it's job transitions, relationship transitions, different things are happening in our life. Research has actually shown that we go through a transition about every 18 months. And in a transition, there's 3 parts. There's endings, there's the whole messy middle where you really don't know what's coming next. And then there's a new beginning. In art journaling, it's like the cousin, if you will, to written journaling. You're not going to show anyone. This is just for you. And I think that's
Yes.
the biggest misperception out there. It's about really using color or collage or imagery. Whatever you loved as a kid, I really advise people start with like crayons and the things they used to play with as a kid, the art tools, because you're looking for a way to introduce some play and creativity into your adult life when you're going through transitions. And it really comes about first getting in touch with play, actually sort of doing something badly for maybe 10 minutes a day. And then over time, it builds. It helps to really move us into a place of curiosity. We can tap into our inner knowing, but it really starts as a really just fun outlet for folks.
So, in what ways does art of journaling differ from traditional writing journals, according to you?
So what I found, because I mentioned I had a first career actually as a journalist, and I've always kept a written journal. When I keep the written journal, I find my left brain, that's the more perfectionistic, the logical, you're typically dating it. I'm
Yes.
writing the date. I'm writing where I am. I sort of list what's been going on.
Yes.
Art journaling really sort of shoots you over to that right side of your brain right away, much more creative, and you're expressing yourself through colors and images. Even if you're just scribbling, the colors you may choose from your crayons say something about you that day. I think if people think about what they like about art or their favorite color, it's very personal. But you don't always have the words to describe it. That's one of the biggest differences is you're not doing any analyzing when you're playing with art. You're playing. Where I've found in the written journal, and I still do that, there's more sort of analyzing going on. There's a little more judgment. It doesn't feel necessarily like I'm playing. I many times end up, even if I'm making lists of things I'm grateful for, it feels like another list, and there's a little bit of judgment.
Miss Susan, beautifully articulated. Very well said. So let's talk about benefits and art journaling. What are some practical benefits of incorporating art journaling into a daily life as you presented?
Well, there's really tremendous mental health benefits. It is a great stress relief. It is terrific for moving us out of worry loops. It can be very easy to overthink in times of challenge. And we're just thinking the same thing, playing the same doom loop. What I love about playing with art is it taps into curiosity and helps really move you out of some of those repetitive loops. I mentioned a moment ago that it's really important to come at it with a sense of play. Just anytime we do something at all fun, I think it's why, people like playing games on their phone. It creates that bit of openness that so many of us need. So it's great for stress relief. It's great for breaking out of some unhelpful thought patterns, or thought ruts is what I'll call it. It's a terrific place to envision the future and sort of draw whatever the images may be, sunny skies, or you could collage someone on a mountain. It can help remind you how resilient you are. So, and I like it. The last thing I really love it for, and I ask people who take my workshops or online course to be their own proud parent. It's a great place to practice a little self-compassion. And just like, when you were a kid artist, you're drawing stick figures, you look at a parent or teacher might be like, that's great. I ask people to sort of admire what they drew. Even if you're still drawing like a 5-year-old and that's part of it, it can up that feeling of self-compassion and lessen that inner critic that can get so loud, particularly at times of transition.
Certainly, Miss Susan. Totally agree. So, can you discuss any personal anecdotes or examples that you share to illustrate the transformative power of art journaling?
Absolutely. So there's a few. I'll just choose one right now. I was in a job that I loved, and I had been in it for a while and was planning on staying much longer. And what happened is, over about the course of 6 months in my art journal, I was really drawn. I was doing some collaging. So I had like magazines, some travel brochures, some things I'd picked up. I ended up with a lot of images of like windy roads
Hmm.
and people standing on the edge of cliffs and like going into the fog. And I started to realize the imagery spoke to me, right? It's just images that are speaking to me, that I was ready for a change. I didn't know where I was going. I'd always told myself before I left that job or career, I wanted a clear plan. And through the art journaling for me, I recognized I didn't have the headspace or the time to develop what I wanted to do next while I was still working so full out in that current career. So it really gave me, my art journaling really gave me the impetus to take the chance, if you will, and do something new. There's clients and people I've worked with. There's lots of different stories, but for me, it was really looking back at how consistently those images were of paths leading into the unknown, people standing on cliffs, that it's like, I recognize that's how I was feeling. I needed to become an explorer in my own life and an adventurer again.
Yes. So let's talk about the techniques and approaches that you're talking about in your book. What are some of the engaging prompts and practical tips?
Sure. So one thing, and I know at the end we'll give out my website, but on the website, there's a free downloadable PDF, right? I want to be really clear that one of the things I love about art journaling is it is for you and it's about play. Just someone listening to us for the next few minutes can do it. I like people, and in workshops, I have folks start with a very simple 3-minute exercise. So if you're in a workshop, I pass around a bowl of crayons and I have everyone choose 2 crayons, and they have blank piece of paper folded in half. So it's only about a 5x7. I put on an upbeat song. It's about 3 minutes. And their only instruction with those 2 crayons is fill that piece of paper. I don't care how you fill the piece of paper, but 3 minutes, piece of paper needs to be filled. And I've done this so many times. And at the end of it, I always ask people how they feel. And light, silly, playful. The time flew by. It felt like something just for them. It was fun to break free. They felt rebellious. And I like people to start, if they're at all curious, really tapping into that sense of play and adventure. I think the deeper benefits of art journaling, processing difficult emotions, tapping into inner wisdom, come after some time. It's really the beginning place is just a place of sort of play or release. And that's why I like people to start with such a simple exercise with some interesting constraints built in.
How about Miss Susan, the materials that you recommend for beginners in art journaling?
So I recommend this for beginners, and as well as, I don't even know how you get advanced people who I've been doing it for a number of years now, about 8 years, and I still use the same ones. I like people to use what they used as a kid, about a 5 or 6-year-old. And why this is so important is it's very hard. I've yet to meet an adult who takes themselves seriously holding a crayon. We
Yes,
don't have expectations as adults that we are going to create something masterful when we're holding a blue crayon. And that's what's so great about it, because so many people are afraid of art, right? And that they will be judged. And I'm trying to have people remember your inner child artist, setting that person free and really silencing the inner critic. So I recommend, I still use a big glue stick. Other people love paint. It's whatever you love, watercolors, finger paints, but it should be inexpensive. The other really big tip, Daniel, and I'll share this, is do not spend very much money. Buy the cheapest you can. And here's why. Once again, the inner critic. You go and get yourself some fancy paints, you're going to feel wasteful and judgmental. If you just spend $1 or $2, or you steal if you've got kids at home, or you find any kids and you get their stickers. I'm a big believer in like rating kids supplies. You don't judge yourself in the way. And part of the power of this that we were just talking about, the mental health benefits, it's a place where you can really silence that inner judge and inner critic. And that's where so much of the stress relief and insights come from, is when we're not judging ourselves like, you're wasting that paint, or that's a mess, or that's ugly. And when you use the things you used as like a 5-year-old kid, a lot of those expectations just aren't there.
definitely. So let's talk about emotional and mental health. As you talked a while ago about mental health, in what ways does art of journaling contribute to emotional healing based on your book?
Sure. It's one of the things I love about an art journal for people, myself and clients, is that it's a safe container for difficult emotions. Say something has happened and you're just feeling so upset, rather in a rage, sad. You can take to your art journal at that moment. You can draw a screaming face. I have like just a little emoji, right? If you think of the way emojis look, draw the face. You can write the words in crayons coming out of it: rage, shame, anger, grief, sadness, whatever you may be feeling. And what happens at the end of filling that 1 page or 2 pages is it's there. It's released onto the page. You can turn the page, you can shut the book. right? But it's given, you're not stuffing down the emotion. You're not telling yourself, I shouldn't feel this way, but you're also not dumping it on another person. So you're using, and I keep saying, the safe container of the page in your book. It's just a blank book, just like a diary, to dump all that you are feeling, to feel it and get it out on the page. And then you've got the symbolic act of closing the book. I have found one of the days I went through a period where I was thinking, I am just a really, really angry person. I mean, I was coming at this thing day after day with lightning bolts and screaming faces. And what it helped me to realize is I was pushing those feelings of frustration down. I was ignoring them, and I started to give them voice in a really safe place, and that I didn't say, oh, I shouldn't be upset, or, oh, look, I'm so lucky, right? It wasn't talking myself out of how I was feeling. And then I will go back even now and look at the difficult days pages, and you end up with so much self-compassion for yourself. And what I love, another big mental health benefit, is it's such a good visual reminder that we're not our emotions. Emotions just pass, right? The
Yes.
emotion, the rage I felt that particular day or even the next stopped. It wasn't a full 24 hours. It was that period that I got it out on the page, and then I evened back out. So it's a really helpful place. People tend to either explode or stuff down their emotions. And what I like is in very short order by symbols, like I said, lightning bolts, tears, sun, rain, whatever it is, screaming faces. Like, it's very easy to capture. And then you're using crayon and colors to really help you sort of get through that emotion without creating any other chaos in your life.
So, Miss Susan, what would be your advice for those people out there who want to start journaling?
Yeah. So, few things. You just bring a sense of play, curiosity, and compassion. Get a couple colored pens, a small pack of crayons, a 12 pack, and just try it 10 minutes a day. I said on the website, there's a PDF you can download that gets you started. Obviously, the book, I've got an online course. I've got a bunch of things that can get you started, but I want to be really honest with you and your folks here. You can start just even based on what I've shared. It's, set a timer, put on a favorite song, just, try 3 minutes of coloring. You don't like it, you could throw it away. Because once again, it's not about what you create, it's about the act of play and processing emotions.
And what would be your short-term and long-term goals in writing, Miss Susan?
When it comes to writing, I'm looking at doing more and more writing about how we work with, in a playful and compassionate way, our thoughts, which is what art journaling's done. So I could see that in the next probably 2 years, I will write another book. Right now, I'm doing a lot of speaking and workshops based on this, but with the clients I work with, what's really coming up, and you hear me talk about, is that inner critic and those thought loops.
Certainly. And good luck to your goals.
Thank you.
And hoping for more empowering books like this. So, how can readers integrate art journaling into their daily routines regardless of their schedules?
So, one of the best way to integrate it, regardless of your schedule, and I do this, there's very small packs of crayons, like 4 or 5, and small notebook. Put it in a backpack, keep it in your car, keep it with you, because we all end up spending a lot of time waiting. We don't even know what happens most of the time is we grab our phones. I actually art journal quite a lot while I'm cooking, like
Mm.
waiting for water to boil. It's so funny. If you're like cooking something on the stove, I might pick up the phone or do something else. Sometimes just having it right there, a couple crayons, you can do it. So I find it to be a really great stress relief, and try and replace, one time I might grab a phone and rather I'm scrolling social media or playing a quick game, try and just replace one of those. So I suggest folks start with 10 minutes a day, right? Somewhere most of us have sort of what I call 10 minutes of time where we're sort of stuck somewhere waiting.
Yes, certainly. So to wrap up our discussion today, Miss Susan, what lasting message you hope readers take away from your book?
The lasting message is at this day and age, it's so important to integrate play. Just
Yes,
start with a little bit of play. It may seem silly, but it really, really unlocks something much deeper in all of us.
certainly. Miss Susan Hensley, thank you so much for sharing your empowering book to the world. And we are looking forward for more empowering books like this. So can you please invite our listeners to support your book?
Sure. Easiest way to buy the book and all that's just my website. It's just susan-hensley.com. You can also buy the book anywhere you buy books.
Where books are sold, people, let's support Miss Susan Hensley, because if you support her, as I said, more empowering books like this to come. So Miss Susan, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. It's been wonderful.
More to come, people. See you soon.